Alcala wasn't up front to waste energy. He had no intention of losing the advantage the leaders had worked hard for. He's a climber, and the gentle hills of the Vosges suited his style. Behind, Alcala's 7-11 team have moved to the front with Christophe Lavaine's System U squad. The strategy was to discourage the pursuit and give the leaders as much time as possible to gain it. Conducting the Tour de France is not always easy, especially when no one is sure now who's calling the tune. Certain now that the attack is a serious attempt to take Macla's yellow jersey, the Carrera team take up the chase, but no one else is willing to help. That's the penalty when you leave the Tour. Trapped in the field, Macla has more than just thinking to do now. This is Alcala's second Tour de France, and he's on the 7-11 team to help Andy Hampsten win the race. This is no double cross. It's better to have two men near the top than one. The bunch is mostly together as they approach the top of the first climb. But some were in desperate trouble at the back.
Come on, Brian, come on.
Far behind the pack, two riders from the newest of the 23 teams in this year's race, Graham Jones and Paul Watson, part of the first ever British team at the Tour de France. And on their very first climb, the British riders suffering 15 minutes behind the pack. This was a controversial journey for the British because many in England believed the British team for the Tour had been assembled in haste. But the British were determined to be here this year to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Tom Simpson's death. The great British cyclist died in the Alps during the '67 Tour. Even a friendly push wouldn't help Watson and Jones make it to next Sunday's memorial service on Mont Ventoux. They would become two more victims of the Tour de France.
So on the Tour de France's first full day on home soil, it's a Mexican, Raul Alcala, who is giving everyone food for thought. Riding like a veteran of many tours, the normally always smiling Alcala is in serious mood as he fuels up for the crucial miles that still lie ahead. His main rival for the leader's yellow jersey is young Frenchman Christophe Lavaine, forced to become a professional early because his parents couldn't afford to keep him at home. The biggest fear of Tour riders is to become hungry and see all the efforts wasted. Table manners have no place here. This has now become the greatest chase since the Tour began, or perhaps it should be called the greatest escape. The gap is now 5 minutes 34 seconds. This breakaway has never faltered, and after a steady start, the escape has developed into a battle between a Frenchman and a Mexican, and both want the yellow property of the Swiss rider Eric Macla. Now the alarm bells are ringing loudly, and the Carrera team are brought to the front to try and save the day. With no friends in the pack, the team begin to work hard to repair the damage. Son of an auto mechanic, Alcala was discovered in a local Mexican race, and he was imported to America to become a professional cyclist. The Carrera team continues to pull together, and Macla himself is going to have to help if the yellow jersey is to hang on his bedpost tonight. Only Stephen Roach, the team leader, is not helping in pursuit. The gap is now 7 minutes 59 seconds. With such a lead, Lavaine is the new leader on the road, because he started the day only 3 minutes 29 seconds behind. Alcala is the next best place. If he could slip Lavaine, he could lead the race. It's been a good day too for Andy Hampsten, because he's drafted along in the bunch, while the Carrera team has been forced to waste energy chasing down Hampsten's teammate. Roach doesn't seem too worried, but it may be Laurent Fignon, another possible Tour winner, who will be having the last lap. He knows it's Roach's teammates who are having to chase down one of his men up front. So this has become a nightmare day for the Carrera team. They feel the full responsibility of leading the race. And as time ticks away, the yellow jersey begins to look fallible. You have to wonder now why one team spends so much energy trying to keep the lead when it could cost Roach the race later. The final cards in this game have not yet been played. We'll be back. And so as the Tour de France snaked its way towards Epinal, the Carrera team had at last begun to close in. And this was the signal for Christophe Lavaine to go ahead of the leading group and bid for the yellow jersey. This was Raul Alcala's only mistake of the day. He should have marked Lavaine, then he wouldn't have had to chase so late. After a day of working together to beat the rest, two men now become bitter rivals. And the best boot in this year's Tour de France is on. Lavaine, 23 years old and never a stage winner nor holder of the Golden Fleece, is told of his advantage over Alcala and the field. It's 47 seconds with the pack closing at 4:20. Alcala's also worried about the pursuit behind. He's in no man's land and needs all the encouragement he can get now from his team car. Alcala must now show the resistance over these final miles that makes the difference between the good and the great. But with the experience of 3 tours, Lavaine is also coached by Cyril Guimard, the best manager. Advantage Lavaine. The Carrera team are still all alone in pursuit. The lead is crumbling, but at what cost in the days to come? Macra is now within seconds of saving his yellow jersey, when earlier the loss seemed inevitable. The Tour was at its most angry now. But on the first day of the Tour, on home ground, a Frenchman was fighting for the yellow jersey. What could be better? This was certainly Lavaine's finest moment. Alcala continues to chase. The Mexican star was shining brightly. He was still set to finish second. But the Carrera team had closed the gaps, and neither Alcala nor Lavaine will be in yellow tonight. The Italian team had won the day, but what a pursuit. Then on the narrow roads approaching the finish, the field crashed. The followers were paying the price for not helping the Carreras. Even Andy Hampsten was down, but unhurt. The delay, however, helped Lavaine keep up his escape, and Alcala kept his lead for second place. Hampsten fell into a ditch and wrecked his bike and had to look to his nearest teammate, who happened to be Davis Finney. He took Finney's bike, leaving him to take a wheel and rejoin later. Teamwork takes strange turns in the Tour. And now it's Finney's job to catch up, if he can. Hampsten safely ahead. Finney's left to pick up the pieces. At the finish, there's a great cheer for Christophe Lavaine, who wins his first ever stage of the Tour de France. Behind, the Carrera team still head the reassembled pack. They're heading for home now. The team has saved the day for the man in yellow. Alcala never caught Lavaine, but he showed the tenacity of a great fighter by staying ahead of the rest for second place. It's a performance that will prove to Hampsten he now has a strong ally.